Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya daily class. So, recently, we not continue Srimad Bhagavatam class or online class. So, today we'll continue Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, mm, fourth canto, 12th chapter, slok 6. So, the chapter is Swayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop fighting. We will see. Bhajasva bhajaniyan grihim bhajasva bhajaniyan grihim avayava bhava chidam yuktam virahitam saktya guna mayatma mayaya. Translation: engage yourself fully, therefore, in the devotional service of the Lord, for only He can deliver us from this entanglement of materialistic existence. Sorry, screen is not sharing. I'm just sharing the screen. You can see also. Yeah. So you can see the screen. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Engage yourself fully, therefore, in the devotional service of the Lord, for only He can deliver us from this entanglement of materialistic existence. Although the Lord is attached to His material potency, He is aloof from our activities. Everything in this material world is happening by the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport: in continuation of the previous verse, it is specifically mentioned here that Dhruva Maharaj should engage himself in devotional service. Devotional service cannot be rendered to the impersonal Brahman feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whenever the word bhajasa appears, meaning engage yourself in devotional service, there must be the servant service and the served. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is served. The mode of activities to please Him is called service, and one who renders such service is called the servant. Another significant feature in this verse is that only the Lord and no one else is to be served. That is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam Ekam Saranam Braja. There is no need to serve the demigods who are just like the hands and legs of the Supreme Lord. When the Supreme Lord is served, the hands and legs of the Supreme Lord are automatically served. There is no need of separate service, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 12.7. Tesam aham samudharta mrityum sansara sagarat. This means that the Lord, in order to show specific favor to the devotee, directs the devotee from within in such a way that ultimately he is delivered from the entanglement of material existence. No one but the Supreme Lord can help the living entity be delivered from the entanglement of this material world. The material energy is a manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's variety of potencies. Parasya Shakti Vividaiva Suyate. This material energy is one of the Lord's potencies, as much as heat and light are potencies of fire. The material energy is not different from the Supreme Godhead, but at the same time, He has nothing to do with the material energy. The living entity, who is of the marginal energy, is entrapped by the material energy on the basis of his desire to lord it over the material world. The Lord is aloof from this, but when the same living entity engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, then he becomes attached to his service. This situation is called a yuktam. For devotees, the Lord is present even in material energy. This is the inconceivable potency of the Lord, material energy acts in the three modes of material qualities, which produce the action and reaction of material existence. Those who are not devotees become involved in such activities, whereas devotees who are devoted with the Supreme Personality of Godhead are freed from such action and reaction of the material energy. The Lord is therefore described herewith as Bhavachiddam, one who can give deliverance from the entanglement of material existence. Text 7. Vrinihi kaman nripayanna manogatam mattastam ottana pade visankitan varam vararho ambuja nava padayor anantaram tvam bhayam anga susruma. Translation: My dear Dhruva Maharaj, son of Maharaj Uttanpad, we have heard that you are constantly engaged in transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known for his lotus navel. You are therefore worthy to take all benedictions from us. Please therefore ask without hesitation whatever benediction you want from me. But Dhruva Maharaj, the son of King Uttanpad, was already known throughout the universe as great devotee of the Lord, constantly thinking of his lotus feet. Such a pure, uncontaminated devotee of the Lord is worthy to have all the benedictions that can be offered by the demigods. He does not have to worship the demigods separately from such benedictions. Whoever is the treasure of the demigods and he is personally offering whatever benediction Dhruva Maharaj would like to have from him. Srila Bilvamangal Thakur stated, therefore, that for persons who engage in the devotional service of the Lord, all material benedictions wait like maid servants. Mukti Devi is just waiting at the door of the devotee to offer liberation, or more than that, at any time. To be a devotee is therefore an exalted position simply by rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can have all the benedictions of the world without separate endeavor. Lord Kuvera said to Dhruva Maharaj that he had heard that Dhruva was always in samadhi or thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. In other words, he knew that for Dhruva Maharaj there was nothing desirable within the three material worlds. He knew that Dhruva would ask for nothing but to remember the lotus feet of the Lord, Supreme Lord, constantly. Text 8. Mitra Uvacha. स राजा राजेन वरया कोचोदितो ध्रुवो महाभगवतो महामती हरौ सवब्रे चलितं स्मृतिं यया तरति अयत्नेना दुरतयां तमाम. Translation: The great sage Maitra continued, My dear Vidura, when thus asked, accept a benediction from Kuvera, the Yaksharaj, king of the Yakshas. Dhruva Maharaj, that most elevated pure devotee, who was an intelligent and thoughtful king, begged that he might have unflinching faith in and remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for thus a person can cross over the ocean of many signs very easily, although it is very difficult for others to cross. Purport. According to the opinion of expert followers of Vedic rites, there are different types of benediction in terms of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. These four principles are known as Chaturvargas. Of all the Chaturvargas, the benediction of liberation is considered to be the highest in this material world. To be enabled to cross over material science is known as the highest Purusartha or benediction for the human being. But Dhruva Maharaj wanted a benediction which surpasses even the highest Purushartha liberation. He wanted the benediction that he might constantly remember the lotus feet of the Lord. This stage of life is called Panchama Purushartha. When a devotee comes to the platform of Pancham Purushartha, simply engaging in devotional service to the Lord, the fourth Purushartha liberation becomes very insignificant in his eyes. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati has stated in this connection that for a devotee, liberation is a hellish condition of life. As per sense gratification, which is available in the heavenly planets, the devotee considers it is to be a will or wisps having no value in life. Yogis endeavor to control the senses, but for a devotee, controlling the senses is no difficulty at all. The senses are compared to serpents, but for a devotee, the serpent's poison teeth are broken. Thus, Prabhupada Saraswati has analyzed all kinds of benedictions available in this world, and he has clearly declared that for a pure devotee, they are all of no significance. Dhruva Maharaj was also a Mahabhagavata or a first class pure devotee, and his intelligence was very great. Mahamati. Unless one is very intelligent, one cannot take to devotional service or Krishna consciousness. Naturally, anyone who is a first class devotee must be a first class intelligent person and therefore not interested in any kind of benediction within this material world. Dhruva Maharaj was offered a benediction by the kings. Kubera, the king of kings, because unless one is blessed by Kubera, one cannot become a king. The king of kings personally offered Dhruva Maharaj any amount of riches, but he declined to accept them. Therefore, he is described here as Mahamati, very thoughtful or highly intellectual. Slok 9. Tasya priteन manasa tam datvai davidastata pasyato नितर्दयेषोऽपि स्वपुरं प्र, प्र, प्रत्यापद्यते पद्यता. Translation: the son of Idavida, Lord Kuvera was very pleased, and happily he gave Dhruva Maharaj as the benediction he wanted. Thereafter, he disappeared from Dhruva's presence, and Dhruva Maharaj returned to his capital city. Purport: Kuvera, who is known as the son of Idavida, was very pleased with Dhruva Maharaj because he did not ask him for anything materially enjoyable. Kubera is one of the demigods, so one may put forward the argument, why did Dhruva Maharaj take a benediction from a demigod? The answer is that for a Vaishnava, there is no objection to take a benediction from a demigod if it is favorable for advancing Krishna consciousness. The gopis, for example, worshipped Katani, a demigoddess, but the only benediction they wanted from that goddess was to have Krishna as their husband. A Vaishnava is not interested in asking any benediction from the demigods, nor is he interested in asking benedictions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said in the Bhagavatam that liberation can be offered by the Supreme Person, but even if a pure devotee is offered liberation by the Supreme Lord, he refuses to accept it. Dhruva Maharaj did not ask Kubera for transference to the spiritual world, which is called liberation. He asked that wherever he would remain, whether in the spiritual or material world, he would always remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A Vaishnava is always respectful to everyone, so when Kubera offered him a benediction, he did not refuse it. But he wanted something which would be favorable to his advancement in Krishna consciousness. Text 10. अथया जात यजनेशाम अथ अथया जात यजनेशाम क्रतुभिर्भूरिदक्षिणैः Javya, many great ceremonial sacrifices in order to please the enjoyer of the sacrifices the supreme personality of Godhead. prescribed ceremony Prescribed ceremonial sacrifices are especially meant to please Lord Vishnu, who is the objective of all such sacrifices and who is awarded the resultant benedictions. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 3.9, it is Jajnarthat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. One should act or work only in order to please the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, one becomes entangled in the resultant reactions according to the four divisions of Varna and Asrama. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are especially advised to perform great ceremonial sacrifices and to distribute their accumulated money very liberally. Dhruva Maharaj, as a king and ideal Kshatriya, performed many such sacrifices, giving very liberally in charity. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are supposed to earn their money and accumulate great riches. Sometimes they do it by acting sinfully. Kshatriyas are meant to rule over a country. Dhruva Maharaj, for example, in the course of ruling, had to fight and kill many Yaksas. Such action is necessary for Kshatriyas. A Kshatriya should not be a coward and he should not be non-violent. To rule over, he has to act violently. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are therefore especially advised internet connection is very loose, not properly connected to the servers. So we are continuing reading. In Bhagavad Gita, it is recommended that even though one enters the renounced order of life, he still cannot give up the performance of yajna, dana, and tapasya. They are never to be given up. Tapasya is meant for the renounced order of life. Those who are retired from worldly activities should perform tapasya, penances, and austerities. Those who are in the material world, the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, must give charity, brahmacharya, at the beginning of their action. Whoever is disturbed. Well, Dhruva Maharaj, as an ideal king, practically emptied his treasury by giving charity. A king is not meant simply to realize taxes from the citizens and accumulate wealth to spend in sense gratification. World monarchy has failed ever since kings began to satisfy their personal senses with the taxes accumulated from the citizens. Of course, whether The system is monarchy or democracy, the same corruption is still going on. At the present moment, there are different parties in the democratic government, but everyone is busy trying to keep his post or trying to keep his political party in power. The politicians have very little time to think of the welfare of the citizens whom they oppress with heavy taxes in the form of income tax, sales tax, and many other taxes. People sometimes have 80 to 90% of their income taken away, and these taxes are lavishly spent for the high salaries drawn by the officers and rulers. Formerly, the taxes accumulated from the citizens were spent for performing great sacrifices as enjoined in the Vedic literature. At the present moment, however, almost all forms of sacrifice are not at all possible. Therefore, it is recommended in the Shastras that people should perform Sankirtan Yajna. Any householder, regardless of his position, can can perform this Sankirtan Yajna without lecture. All the family members can sit down together, and simply clap their hands and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Somehow or other, that is quite sufficient for this age of Kali. The Krishna consciousness movement is based on this principle. Chant the Hare Krishna mantra at every moment, as much as possible, both inside and outside of the temples, and as far as possible, distribute prasada. This process can be accelerated with the cooperation of state administrators and those who are producing the country's wealth. Simply by liberal distribution of prasada and sankirtana, the whole world can become peaceful and prosperous. Generally, in all the material sacrifices recommended in the Vedic literature there are offerings to the demigods. This demigod worship is especially meant for less intelligent men. Actually, the result of such a sacrifice goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. He is actually the angel of all sacrifices. His name, therefore, is Yajna Purusha. Although Dhruva Maharaj was a great devotee and had nothing to do with with his sacrifices, to set an example to his people, he performed many sacrifices and gave all his wealth in charity. For as long as he lived as a householder, he never is very significant. The Lord awards everyone different kinds of karma as the individual living entities desire. He is a super soul present within the heart of everyone and is so kind and liberal that he gives everyone full facilities to perform whatever acts one wants. Then the result of the action is also enjoyed by the living entity. If anyone wants to enjoy or lord it over material nature, the Lord gives him full facilities, but he becomes entangled in the resultant actions. Similarly, if anyone wants to engage himself fully in devotional service, the Lord gives him full facilities, and the devotee enjoys the results. The Lord is therefore known as Karma Phala Prada. So today we'll stop here. From tomorrow we'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam 4.12.11. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada की जय, पतित पावन श्री गुरु महाराज की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर श्रीतानाथ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।